Kiatu Jusu tells us why horror was her genre of choice for her latest film Nanny, and British Sri Lankan comedian Romesh Ranganathan shares the fear he felt releasing his Netflix comedy special. Also on the show, director Todd Field discusses his latest film Tar, starring Cate Blanchett as a female orchestra conductor. And there's music from the Sarod maestro Amjad Ali Khan and his sons Arman and Ayan. My guests on today's Arts Hour are the US comedian Alex Edelman, whose hit show Just For Us is currently running here in London, and we welcome back the writer and cultural critic Hannah Flint. So before we go any further, do you both have a cultural highlight to share with us, a recommendation? Hannah, I'll start with you.
Well, I'm going to name drop my own book, Strong Female Character, What Movies Teach Us. It's a kind of movie manifesto memoir, talks about the movies that we watch and what it tells us about ourselves. So there's a lot of me in it, but there's a lot of movies in it as well.
Fantastic.
And I think my cultural pick will have to be, I'm very late to the Search Party, but
amazing.
I absolutely adore this series. Ali Shawkat is amazing. As someone who cares a lot about like Middle East and North African rap, having someone who's like half Iraqi in this thing to lead the show, and even though
so in other parts of the world,
it's so funny.
Very easy once you're sending the truck with beer on it to add some water, add
For
some soft
people who
drinks,
can
add some
access the
snacks.
BBC iPad.
Because people
Thank
don't
you,
want 15
Alex.
different apps to order from suppliers on one app, and that's what's happening.
So what's going on in the core business right now? I presume you've got a lot of inflation that you're still grappling with.
A lot of inflation, just like everyone else. It's nasty. No one wants it. Impacting everyone. Our sector hit harder than most. The big driver of that's gas. So think about the gas in a furnace used to make a beer bottle, and that's driving a huge amount of our costs. So tough for us, but I think we're no different to a lot of businesses having to grapple with this.
And what about the mood among customers? I mean, obviously we had a profits warning yesterday from Fuller's. How do you think things are going in the off-trade right now, and the on-trade, sorry?
In the on-trade, so in pubs, bars, restaurants, I think it's a tough time for the hospitality industry. The cost of living crisis, that means people might be less likely to go out and spend. As we know, a lot of these companies, a lot of these businesses have struggled to get staff, and that's why I think we're very anxious about that. So we've got a task force trying to figure out ways to create more business for them, and that's why this tool, Bees, that we've launched is so valuable, because through that, we can help bring footfall, bring more people to pubs, bars and restaurants. We can help our customers save money through rewards and cashback. We can give more tailored promotions. They can place orders outside of business hours, which makes their trading day more efficient. So that's why it's such an important time to bring this to the market.
Does it bother you that a lot of supermarkets use beer as a loss leader? I mean, particularly with brands like Stella Artois, which always commanded a premium. I mean, the supermarkets can sell it quite cheaply.
Yeah, I mean, I can't comment on their P&Ls, let's say, to understand that. But I do know that beer has chronically underpriced inflation for many, many decades. Beer is much more affordable now to consumers than it was 3-4 decades ago. So it is an interesting time now that our costs are going up a lot, and we're having to have those conversations to try and pass some of those costs on. Now, we don't pass all of those costs on because we always challenge ourselves to find our own savings. But of course, at some point, you need to also maintain a viable business yourself.
Of course. Brian, good to see you this morning.
Thanks, Ian.
Some other stories now, and the government borrowing more than doubled last month thanks to higher interest payments on the national debt and cost of measures to support households and businesses with their energy bills. Well, public sector net borrowing hit £27.4 billion. That was significantly higher than the city had been expecting, and up from £10.4 billion in December 2021. It is the highest December borrowing since data began being prepared in this way 29 years ago. Well, interest payments on the national debt last month came in at £17.3 billion, which was the highest ever. And borrowing in the financial year so far came in at £128.1 billion. The owner of Primark said this morning that the discount fashion chain had enjoyed a better Christmas than expected, with sales in the 16 weeks to the 7th of January up 11% on the same period a year earlier on a like-for-like basis, and up 18% overall. Well, Associated British Foods, which also owns grocery brands such as Twinings Tea, Ryvita Crisp Bread and Jordan Cereals, said its total food sales during the period were ahead by 18%. It said that input cost inflation was becoming less volatile, and recently some commodity costs had declined. And the pub operator Marston's said today that its sales over the Christmas period had been ahead of the last festive season before the pandemic. The country, whose 1,468 pubs include the Pitcher and Piano and Generous George chains, said that sales during the 16 weeks to last Saturday were up 12.9% on the same period last year on a like-for-like basis and up 4.5% on the pre-pandemic Christmas period. Well, Andrew Andrea, the chief executive, said the pub clearly remains an affordable treat, which is attractive to consumers. Now, the biggest human migration of the year has just taken place as millions of Chinese families have reunited for the Lunar New Year celebrations. It comes this year as China reopens after 3 years of COVID restrictions, all of which should provide plenty of opportunities for the Prudential, which this year celebrates its 175th anniversary. The FTSE 100 insurer has undergone an enormous transformation in recent years, during which it has demerged its asset management and UK businesses, which were spun off as M&G, and its US business. That has left it as an Asia and Africa focused specialist. With me now is Mark Fitzpatrick. He's Group Chief Executive at Prudential. Mark, welcome to you.
Thank you.
Have you been taken aback at the speed with which China's reopened?
I think it's been long awaited, and it's been the most common question from almost every investor now for a number of months. So I think everybody's delighted that it is happening. It's great that families can reconnect after 3 years of being separated. So it's a very exciting time for the Chinese consumer. And it's also a very exciting time for our business because our Hong Kong business is very reliant upon mainland Chinese visitors coming into Hong Kong. And at its peak in 2019, there were about 1 million visitors a week coming from mainland China to Hong Kong. And when the population of China is 7 million people, that's a huge impact in terms of not just our business, but the economy as a whole for Hong Kong.
At what point would you expect gross written premiums in China to be back to pre-pandemic levels?
So I think for the new business flow from China into Hong Kong, we expect it to take the balance of this year probably to get somewhere close to 50+% of conventional levels, and then to see that more normalized during the course of the back end of next year. Because when people haven't been able to travel for the last 3 years, there's quite a lot, I suppose, they want to sort out and quite a lot they want to prioritize in terms of family reunions and the like. So we think it'll take a little while to get back to the 1 million visitors a week. But that being said, it is a great opportunity for our business, and it's a great opportunity for Hong Kong to re-establish itself.
Now, obviously, British viewers will remember the man from the Pru. And in Asia, you still have a lot of these boots on the ground agents visiting customers daily. Did many of those leave the workforce during the lockdown period?
So we have, at the half year last year, we had 530,000 agents across Asia and Africa. So it's a huge number. And the experience we have, the connectivity we have with customers continues, and was very important during lockdown because we were able to remind customers of the policies they had and the benefits they got through those policies. So 2 markets were severely hit by COVID, being India and Indonesia. I was in Jakarta last week, talking with customers, talking with agents, and they're thrilled now to be able to reconnect with their customers, open up new opportunities. So agents are still a key part of our business, very, very important, and a key differentiator for us.
I mean, you are, of course, in 15 Asian markets. You've mentioned Indonesia there, but population exploding there. Which of the markets that you're in Asia excites you the most?
So just by virtue of pure scale, China is massively exciting. The market is hugely underpenetrated, about 4% penetration, so a fraction of what it is here in the UK or in Europe. So huge way for insurance to go. I would say Indonesia is very exciting as well. India, I was in India end of last year. Very, very exciting market. Digitization is transforming society there, making it far easier to be able to include people for financial products and to be able to give people access to insurance products, which many haven't had in the past.
I mean, obviously, China has lots of big domestic insurers of its own. How do you differentiate yourself from them?
Well, a key element for ourselves in terms of differentiation is our strategy on the mainland has 2 key distribution components, a high-quality agency and a banker distribution channel. Most of the domestic players tend to have focused on agency, haven't spent a lot of time on the banker channel. That's giving us a differentiation. And the second component is we have a higher component of health and protection policies, whereas a lot of the domestic players have tended to go for more savings products, which are then more susceptible to movements in interest rates and movement in the markets.
Now, we haven't really talked about Africa, where, of course, you're in 8 countries right now. What are you seeing there right now?
So Africa is another very, very exciting part of the world with a massively growing population, but also huge urbanization. Massive urbanization. So there's a lot more we think we can do. Excited to be in the 8 markets. We started there back in 2014. We think there's a lot more that we can do in the market. We supported and were a major sponsor for the Africa Cup last year. So great to have that visibility, great to be able to be building the brand and building the business with such gusto.
Now, obviously, you're still a very, very big business despite all the activity, 16th largest in the FTSE by market cap. But does a London listing really make sense when you're now focused entirely on Africa and Asia?
So, great question. About 40% of our investors or investors are actually making decisions here in London on whether to continue holding shares in Prudential, buy more or sell. So it's a very, very big part of who we are. We raised equity back in 2021, the back end of 2021, as a way to try and encourage more Asian investors to increase their investment in us. We've seen some shares, albeit limited, move from the London line to Hong Kong, but our base of investors is really in the UK. So we have a lot more to do, further to go, but I think you'll start to see over time further shift in terms of Asian investors.
All right, Mark, we have to leave it there. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
Still to come on Ian King Live. We'll have a look at how the markets are doing this Tuesday morning. Don't go away. Thank you. Good to see you.
And I'm Sky's correspondent based here in Washington, D.C. Well, the plan seems to be to head to the police station where the policeman who fired the shots was based.
And everything, his memories is all gone.
In almost every corner, this town has been completely destroyed by the fire. I've witnessed a remarkable passion for politics here, but the anger too.
We have to get Trump out of the White House.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
It's easy to go to politics.
But it's important. It's at the heart of the issue.
I get that that's where the media likes to go.
No, it's not. It's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
I report on the biggest stories from around the world. This is a town that is effectively encircled by the Russians.
You say it's all fabrication, what's happening in Bucha?
Destroyed my nation.
We take you to the heart of stories that shape our planet. Yeah, I can hear now quite a few explosions in the distance here in Jerusalem. A very violent series of confrontations here. What do you think of ISIS?
Everybody here knows the truth of ISIS.
Well, last night's positive showing on Wall Street was followed by gains overnight for equities in the Asia-Pacific region. Tokyo, Sydney and Mumbai all finished higher. You can ignore the prices for Hong Kong and Shanghai. These remain, of course, closed for the Lunar New Year holiday. Well, in Europe, stocks have made a largely positive start to the day. Well, look at that. They were. I walked into the studio and they're all in positive territory. Just shows you how these things switch around now. Only the CAC 40 in France in positive territory right now. Talking points in Europe this morning include Swatch. The Swiss watchmaker is up 1% in Zurich on a trading update. We're here in London. Let's have a look at the FTSE 100. That's in negative territory too, off just over 1/3 of 1%. The healthcare heavyweights are dragging on the index this morning. Not sure why. No specific reasons out there so far as I can ascertain. The aircraft engine maker Rolls-Royce is among leading gainers. That's on some positive broker comment. It's up 3.5% right now. Otherwise, there are not too many stories for traders to get their teeth into this morning. Outside the FTSE 100, well, the Engineer Senior, the shares are are ahead by more than 10%. That's on news that full-year profits will be better than expected, while Wizz Air is up nearly 1% on broker comment ahead of its results this coming Thursday, and we'll be speaking to the chief executive on that day. On the foreign exchange markets, we'll look at that. The pound has fallen after those flash PMI numbers with which we led the programme. Sterling off 0.5% right now against both the US dollar and the euro. As for the oil price, well, that had another decent session yesterday, but look at that. It's taken a bit of a breather this morning. Barrel of Brent crude will currently set you back $87.89 a barrel. That is down 1/3%. Well, joining me this morning is Zoe Gillespie. She's Senior Investment Manager at RBC Brewing Dolphin. Zoe, good morning to you. We mentioned Associated British Foods earlier today. I mean, really pleased with what they heard.
Yeah, I think AB Foods is kind of following quite strongly with the trend that we've seen in retailers coming through the Christmas period. And they have benefited from, I think, increased footfall on the high street. And they've seen very strong numbers. I think Primark has had sort of quarterly sales up 15%. And Primark is obviously the main driver of growth for revenue for AB Foods. And also they've seen their kind of grocery division do well too on the back of kind of rising inflation. I think the same story has been sort of played out with a lot of the food retailer too. So it's been a really positive story for the share price after quite a difficult 2022.
Absolutely. What about Saga? We heard from them. I mean, we've had two announcements in as many days from Saga.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've sort of had to navigate some choppy waters, I think, through the kind of pandemic and how they were having to deal with the kind of shutdown of a lot of the cruise liners. But they have actually reported a kind of an increase in revenue of about 40-50% they've guided for. So they're expected to post a small operating loss for the sort of 22-23 financial year. But looking forward to next year, I think certainly it looks a more optimistic outlook for the travel company. The only kind of blip in that has been the insurance business, which has seen a sort of 3% drop in kind of sales there. So I think it's generally positive for them, and the share price has been up over 25% since the beginning of the year, which is a good news story.
Yeah, absolutely extraordinary. Now, what about in the US? We're in the thick of earnings season now. We hear from Microsoft tonight. What are you expecting there?
Yeah, I think Microsoft's one of the sort of big hitters in terms of earnings season, and after the sort of closing bell at 9 o'clock, it's always interesting to tune in to see how it's done. At the last kind of announcement, actually, the results come through that they were, I think, a little kind of disappointed about the growth potentially in the Azure cloud business. And I think they had guided for sort of slower growth. So it's been a difficult year for Microsoft, but last night they actually announced that they've increased their stake in OpenAI to increase their artificial intelligence business. So I think it'll be interesting to see how the market views that and the opening, and whether that gives some better guidance and an outlook statement coming through from the market and how it's going to be received. So yeah, it's a big day for Microsoft.
Absolutely. Big day in Scotland tomorrow, of course. Burns Night. Are you doing anything for it?
Oh, I don't know, actually. Potentially get the haggis out and sort of celebrate. So yeah, probably.
Very good. Have a good one when it comes. Zoe, good to see you this morning.
Thank you very much, Ian. Bye.
Scottish Sparrow always used to do a very good Burns Night event. I used to get drunk with members of the SNP that night. Fun evening. Anyway, still to come here on Ian King Live. What happens when SMEs can't get bank loans? I'll be speaking to the alternative finance provider ThinCats, whose clients include the restaurant chain Flatiron. Don't go away. Welcome back. There are roughly 400,000 mid-sized SMEs in the UK, accounting for more than a quarter of GDP, but often they struggle to obtain the debt financing they need from the banks. Well, that's led to the growth of so-called alternative finance providers. One of them is ThinCats, which has just revealed that it provided £302 million worth of funding to businesses in 2022. That took its total lending to more than £1.3 billion since the Leicestershire-based company was launched in 2011. Well, here with me now is the Managing Director of ThinCats, Ravi Anand. Ravi, welcome to you. Which were the sectors most in need of funding last year?
So there's quite a bifurcation, and we mainly lent to B2B service businesses in the UK, whereas consumer, construction were struggling sectors and continue to be, and they had less demand. They had demand, but less supply of debt, should I say.
And the typical loan is £4.6 million. Presumably you can go a lot higher if required.
Yeah, we go £1 to £15 million lending, occasionally higher, really supporting growth of businesses. We do a lot of buy and build.
And what proportion of the book is secured?
So most of our lending is what you'd call cash flow lending. So it's secured on the business, but it has no assets. And this is where banks struggle to lend where there aren't any assets. The assets are the business and its contracts.
And what's the typical duration of a loan?
4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years. I mean, what I found interesting is that the biggest use of capital that you provide is for acquisition funding.
Yeah. So, people talk about acquisitions in big companies, but of course, small companies are doing acquisitions as well. And you need a skill to lend that's been lost in the banks to do that. And we're meeting that gap. Right now, a lot of M&A going on in what I call mid-sized SME. Good businesses buying good businesses, but good businesses buying slightly weaker businesses.
That will surprise a lot of people, given the dearth of M&A among large and listed companies last year.
Absolutely right. It sort of seems to be bucking the trend, and our pipeline, for example, is the highest it's ever been, and we are seeing good M&A in I say, service-orientated businesses that are somewhat protected from some of those macro factors. They've got good contracts, the recurring revenues, and 30% profit margins.
And would you expect that to remain the case, that pipeline to be as resilient in the event of a recession?
We're sort of, I think people are expecting a recession. We're sort of, are we one, are we not? I think we are. Yes, I mean, you can't buck the trend completely, but entrepreneurs continue to grow. And so there's a lot of negativity out there, headline, but when you get down to grassroots, there are a lot of people trying to grow and a lot of activity.
Would you expect to see more demand this year for working capital purposes?
Yeah, I think, look, about half of what we do is acquisition finance, and the balance is working capital and growth. So I think that is true. And what we are seeing is that banks are beginning to do a bit less. For someone like us, for banks to do a little bit less provides us a lot more volume.
That's very interesting. So the banks, as far as you're concerned, then are drawing in their horns in some cases.
Modestly. I wouldn't say it's aggressive at the moment, but for someone like us, as on a modest reduction in supply from clearers and challenger banks means that we can step in and write more business.
What are you seeing in terms of delinquencies just now?
So I think delinquencies are going up. But again, it's sector by sector. We've predicted that small SMEs, micro SMEs, will triple in insolvencies. So that's going from a 2% average to about a 6% average. And mid-sized SMEs, where we lend, will probably double. But it's still only 2 to 4%. So you've still got 95% of the population that's not delinquent that are good, by and large, good businesses.
And to what extent do you hold the hands of customers when they come in and ask you for a loan? Do you provide ongoing support for them as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the first thing is we originate our loans through advisors who are supporting the business through that initial process. But on an ongoing basis, we are looking to help businesses, whether they've got issues or growth. And a lot of what we lent last year with growth finance was follow-on finance for buy and build for small businesses.
It's a really interesting story, this. I mean, we hear so much about business investment being challenged, and it's an area in which the UK underperforms its competitors. I mean, from what you're saying, it doesn't sound like there's a lack of credit out there.
There is, I think you've got to bifurcate sectors again. So yes, manufacturing, supply chain driven sectors are struggling. Consumer orientated sectors are struggling, but we do have a very large service business in this country, and that's true right way down through SMEs as well.
You think you're going to beat the record? I mean, 2021, I think you were slightly ahead of 2022. Are you going to top that this year?
Absolutely.
All right, nice positive note on which to end. Ravi, good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, the world-famous Dorchester Hotel on London's Park Lane has just completed the first stage of a multi-year restoration, its first in more than 3 decades. The 5-star hotel has been given a new facade and lobby, while its promenade, Vespa bar and artist bar have each been given a makeover. Well, I met with Christopher Cowdray, Chief Executive of the Dorchester Collection, and Luca Virgilio, he's the General Manager of the Dorchester, to find out more.
The Dorchester was last totally renovated in the late 1989, and after all those years, having had lots of investment in between time, it was important just to really take it back to the bones and really make sure that all the systems, life safety and everything else was brought up to date, and also to bring a new energy to the hotel. So it's always very important with old hotels is that you've got to really keep the essence of what they're about, and that's what really we've done with this project.
Now, this is only the first stage of it that you're showcasing today. There's still a lot more work to do.
Yes, this part with the ground floor and 2 floors of guest rooms, and then we'll slowly move up the rest of the hotel as well as part of this entire project. So it'll take another year to do.
You have a very discerning clientele. Obviously, there's been a lot of upheaval here. How have you managed to minimise the inconvenience for guests?
Well, first of all, we were very transparent. I think that was very important, with our clientele and with our partners. So we really made them aware. And at the very same time, we put in place many procedures in terms of noise restraints and times of day. We really worked very closely with our main contractors to make sure that we respected that. And I have to say, all in all, it has been an easier journey that we expected. And, this place has so much love from many clients, and they showed this love during this past year, continuing to come with us. And they've been part of this journey, and we kept them aware along the way, and they were the first one to have a sneak preview of everything that we're revealing today.
Now, you're not putting a figure on the cost of the work, but presumably that has escalated due to COVID.
Yes, it has. I think when we started it, we had a certain value, but because of issues with the supply chain and international transportation and also labour costs, that has forced the prices up. But that's when you're doing such a major restoration, you expect that as well.
Do you feel under any particular pressure to return the cost of capital over a set period of time, or because of the ownership, is that not so much of a priority?
No, that's not so much of a priority. I think what's really important is that the Dorchester holds its place in London society and internationally as one of the world's greatest hotels.
This is obviously the flagship of the business. How important is it to the wider Dorchester Group in terms of its profitability?
Oh, it's very important to the earnings. It is, as you say, it is the flagship. It's one of the 3 major contributors to the company, and it's a big one. We have also in Paris the Plaza Athénée, which is a big contributor, and then there's Le Maurice. And then going across the waters, the Beverly Hills Hotel is again very significant.
What sort of trade have you seen over the past 12 months?
It's been a very positive year, all considered. I mean, for us, for obvious reason, it was on a reduced scale. However, what is impressive is how, let's say, the high-end traveler kept on traveling, and even more so. It's kind of what we call the revenge travel, if anything, after scaling down for 2 years. So it's been an impressive year, and I think, speaking for the company, it was a record year.
How has London returned to business post-COVID? How would you put it in context in terms of the wider group?
London has been a little bit slower than we anticipated. Paris has been by far Paris and Los Angeles are the 2 centres which have grown very, very fast. In Los Angeles we have the 2 hotels, the Bel Air and the Beverly Hills Hotel. They've actually performed extremely well throughout COVID because of the nature of the hotel, and people sort of felt safe there. Paris
Make that move now this festive season to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it. Make that move now this festive season to your new home address at GHS Housing Estate. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820. Or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamp Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
The best radio show.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
Body is your man. Bekutu, show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for home. For here, we they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
The best radio show.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car.
At work.
At home.
On your smartphone.
This is Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Smile, though your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and the Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio. This is UK. Starr Radio UK. This is Starr Radio UK.
Welcome.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
Okay, let me say massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you, and we say happy day to you. If you're having a special celebration today, I want to salute you for that as well. And I want to say that let's together enjoy the day and enjoy whatever you are doing. And do me a massive favor, share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. And my sincere apologies for the late start of the program, running around like a headless chicken. At times the car park is even packed up as well. You cannot even find a place to. But it's all good. Let me say good morning to all at the Inspired Day Nursery as well. Shireen and the boss lady and all the team there. I salute each and every one of you. All right then. Let me say morning to my team this morning. Mr. Olayomi, my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Good morning to you, my brother Felix, all the way in Aberdeen, and then Kojodi. I hope you guys are all doing very, very well. Okay then. Now we're going to be cracking on. Bishop Adeshina, good morning to you. Reverend Momo, good morning to you. Anthony Adeneji, Aziz, Sir Maxwell, Moyuwa, and all you guys there. I salute each and every one of you. All protocol observed. And once again, welcome to the Tuesday edition of the Morning Show. Today is the 24th day of January, the year 2023, 10:48 the time. My apologies, and let's crack on. Oh gosh, I think my producer will be hearing that I'm having a cough. Yes, it seems I'm getting some cold. I'm not sure whatever it is, but hey, we're going to make it a great day. Yes, I'm going to bring you the quote of the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update. We're having Miss Olayomi joining in to bring you updates from Nigeria, because there's lots happening from there. And then we'll move on from there to have a look at some of the other stories making the rounds in other parts of the world. We continue with our discussions. The lines will be open at 12 o'clock, and then at 12:30 we bring the curtains down for the end of the program. But today there's a special program that's going to be taking place on BB Means Business, and we'll be going to prepare the grounds for that. I wanted to invite somebody. These are a special group, a team, a brother and a sister, siblings who decided during the lockdown to set up a business, a restaurant, and then the way through the challenges and everything that what life threw at them, they've been able to make it. Now you want to know their story and how you can take leave out their book, then please make sure that your dials are logged on Starr Radio UK, because exactly at 1:30 we'll be having BB Clement making way with that program, BB Means Business. So make sure your data are so logged on Starr Radio UK. So let's crack on. Let's move on straight to the quote for the day. It says, be open to new ideas, alternative perspectives by reading anything you find, not just about your career, but that which will broaden your wild view. And it's one thing that I really like doing. I like reading stuff. Just make sure that I am abreast with time and know exactly what is going on in other parts of the world. Though I have to concentrate on my career, things that are related to my career, but you should be broad-minded. You need to know everything that is going on, so that just in case you are caught in a debate, you know what to say exactly, right? Do you agree with me there? And let me hear a massive amen there. Well, it is Saturday. I remain yours sincerely, the one and only Archie. Now, when it comes to the weather front, this morning is not that bad. Well, it seems a bit milder than it's been of late. Though some would say that, well, it's kind of cold. But I can tell you, there's going to be plenty of cloud that will be lingering this afternoon, with much of it being low cloud and just a small chance of a brighter break towards the evening. It should remain dry, however. Now, overnight, thicker cloud will drift to the east, and this will leave a mixture of clear spells and variable cloud amount. It's going to be staying dry throughout, and it will be another cold night. Top temperature is going to be 6 degrees. The lower is going to be 0. UV level low, pollution low. Sunset 16:35, and sunrise for tomorrow morning 07:51 hours. And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. Let's take a quick break, and I'll bring you the travel update. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS House and Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads. Keep your eyes on the roads. I'm keeping navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio UK travel update. I come to where every weekday from 10:40. It's not coming your way. It's 10:52. But what's happening on travel this morning? You want to know? I want to know. All right then, so on your travels this morning, I can tell you shortly a quick one from there on the underground this morning. We got the District line that's got minor delays, Elizabeth line minor delays, and Hammersmith and City lines minor delays there as well. All the others have got good service. On the major roads in London, A4, A41, Central London Red routes have all got closures. On the river, my apologies, that's the major road, but on the river bus this morning, good service throughout. And then the London cable car is operating in good service there as well. But keep your eyes on the roads, keep your eyes on the roads. As we keep navigated, I promise our board. You can share with us what is happening on your travels wherever you might be, because we have a worldwide listenership and it will benefit somebody. But here in London, in the UK, the final one, the National Rail. Now, the Charlton Railways, Great Northern, Great Western Railway, Heathrow Express, Mersey Rail, South Western Railway have all got minor delays. And as I will say all the time, well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. And I would say enjoy your commute for today. But you know what? Continue to keep those eyes on the road.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, and as I did announce earlier on this afternoon, exactly at 1:30, BB Clement will be coming your way with BB Means Business. Okay, so we're preparing the ground. So exactly from 12:30, where we'll bring the first part of the program to a close, we'll be preparing the ground for that program. And as I did announce earlier, I'm going to be having a very special. She's going to be having special guests, siblings who made it. Yeah, they made it. Yeah. You want to know more? Arrest my case. Be there or be square. All right then. Now let's move on to some of the stories making the rounds across the globe this morning, and this time around pertaining to what is happening in Nigeria and other part of the world. Let's start from Nigeria because you and me will be bringing you details of everything that is happening there. Now it says that Osun deepen irreparable loss as Governor Adeleke's sack of teachers goes, wrong. We'll bring you more on that. And what Peter Obi told Katsina people about APC and Buhari's government. That is for election 2023. And then prolonged fasting can damage your kidney. Okay, that is another story for another day. And then, in Lagos, Utomi asks INEC to probe PVC hoarding and condemns attacks on Labour Party supporters. Is that true? Is this something that is happening there? Well, it's quite a scary one, but more will be coming your way once we have Mr. Olayomi on. Are people PVCs being hoarded? And are some party people being maligned for them to get their hands on their. But when you go in there, you're not going to be saying that I belong to this party or I belong to that party. I just want my PVC. You pick your PVC and you go. But you want to know more, stay tuned, don't you go away. Lots more going to be coming your way from there. Still bringing you updates for other parts of the world, global trotting. Now, when it comes to the UK front as well, Zara Alina Kela wrongly assessed as medium risk. The law graduate Kela could have been recalled to prison before the attack. A report has been found. Well, he was wrongly released, and that brought about him murdering this law student. I have not disappointed you. I've given my best. Buhari tells Nigerians, your best is not good enough. Or is it good enough? What do you think? Now, suspect held after another California mass shooting. There's another one. The latest deadly rampage killed 7 farm workers just 2 days after a mass shooting at Lunar New Year. What is happening? Okay, now Seiko said to break record with Oscar nominations. It's one of the stories making the round. BBC chairman says he won't quit over Johnson's row. Well, he said that, I got a job by merit, not chronism. Well, what do you think about that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on straight to some other stuff. Cameroon journalist urges investigation after death colleague. It's one of the story. Burkina Faso confirms demanding France to withdraw troops. Okay, from where? Now ADF rebels kill at least 23 in new attack in eastern DRC. It's one of the story. The South Sudan set for Pope Francis visit. Okay, so let's see. Maybe the visit of the pontiff might give them a bit of luck. Is there anything of the sort? A bit of peace. Is there anything of the sort prosperity there? We'll call it all in. Why not? Okay. Duncan Williams is without about call for suspension of National Cathedral construction until independent audit. Well, these are some of the top hooks who are there, but they are calling for an suspension of the project until some investigation is done towards that. No mortal can stop National Cathedral if it is the right reason. Reverend Randolph Cranting. Now, this National Cathedral thing, I don't know, but I want you to tell me, do you think, if you come from Ghana, if you don't come from even Ghana, but I mean, you know what is going on exactly there? In a time where people are desperate, is it a National Cathedral that we panacea to all our problems? Don't we have edifices where we have, great men of God there who are seeing to addressing issues pertaining to everything? When we say, people are, religious or powerful men of God, why don't their edifices be used for such purposes? But I think that the National Cathedral, who is going to be the head of that National Cathedral at all? Even are we going to have our own Archbishop celebrated? Maybe we get somebody nominated for that particular position. Well, a lot more are going to be coming your way from that front. So wherever you are, stay tuned. Don't touch the dial. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. More going to be coming your way in the next few moments. So stay tuned. It is Starr Radio UK. All right then. Now let's take a musical break, and we will be bringing you Mr. Olayomi Koike in the next few moments. And this is Smile from the new song. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
My sister, smile. Hallelujah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Lord God. All right, TNS, let me hear you sing. Swell me. Oh,
written from the lovely Danny Latte. Danny Toffee. Why do I call him Danny Latte? The late Danny Toffee with a TNS. Odoko, Accra, Ghana. And it's in a nutshell. Of Jesus, who is more precious to me, and I'm more than a rich man. The first part of it says, smile. Though there are challenges, though there are difficulties, though things might not be going the way that you tempt them or you thought that they were going to go, but keep on smiling. And we know that's why Starr Radio UK is here every morning, every weekday, from 10 to 1 or 12:30 as it might apply, and then bringing you everything that you need to know so you can put a smile on your face. So once again, welcome to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. On a Tuesday edition of the morning show, we should be having Miss Olayomi Koiki joining in pretty soon. But enjoy the rest of that music and we get Miss Olayomi Koiki in. To Olakunle, say good afternoon from here, Olakunle. I hope you are doing very well. Lots of love to you as well. Let's take a quick commercial break whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi Koiki to join in this morning. But it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS House and Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it. Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS House and Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go from Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. As I did announce this earlier on, now this afternoon exactly at 1:30, BB Clement will be coming your way with BB Means Business, and she'll be having as a guest these two wonderful
Hi, I'm Emeka.
group
and together
family, and I will be telling you more about that during the course of the program. But hey, that's just a teaser. If you remember them, well, then you want to be part of BB Clement this afternoon. So make a date when that event takes place exactly at 1:30 this afternoon. But now, whilst we wait for Mr. Olayomi, I'll be going through some of the story that is posted so that we can have a detailed look at it. But let me say good morning to Prince Abimbola today. Yes, he says good morning, Starr Radio UK. Good morning to you, Prince. I hope you are doing very, very well. Yes, we thank God Nigeria has not happened to each and every one of us by the grace. I know some people didn't get what they wanted. Things have happened by situation, but hey, you still have life, and therefore there is hope for you. What about that? Well. It is Starr Radio UK. 12 minutes past the top of the hour, and I can tell you, I think we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki. Yes. Okay. He will be. I think he's going to dial in again. I don't know what happened, but his line dropped, so he's going to dial in again. So wherever you are, continue to stay tuned whilst we prepare for Mr. Olayomi Koiki. And some of the stories that we're going to be looking at this morning on the updates from Nigeria pertains to, he said, I've not disappointed you. I've given my best. That's what the president is saying, Buhari. Do you think that what Buhari is saying is the right stuff? People will disagree. Others will think that, well, he's done his best. As I know some of them have been saying, he's done his best. So it's nothing to do with him. So let's see what is going to happen on that front. But what do you think? What do you really think about Buhari's time as the president of Niger? Okay, let's go. I think I've got Mr. Olayomi Koiki now, and let's go to him and let's see what he has got in stock for us. And let me say, Yomi, good morning to you.
Well, a very good morning, and I hope you can hear me loud and clear back in the studio.
Loud and clear. How are you?
A very good morning to you. Once again, sorry for joining a bit late. I was just trying to catch up as many things as the school run, the water buying into the house, freezing cold outside. I'm doing very well, and it's good to be joining you again this morning as the month is getting almost running away. 24 days into the January, but we're still here on the Starr Radio UK. Good morning to all those that have joined us on the other platform as well from Miami, and the rest of those that have joined us in Nigeria. I say good morning to all other presenters, and it's a good morning to you, Mr. Archie, and I come back slightly again to you in the studio.
Yes. Hope the family and everyone is doing well.
I had to do the school run myself this morning, and that literally means that the bus was compact. I'm not sure whether we need to complain to our local government or the council to make sure that in the morning there's enough bus to take us to school, but the children are fine, the families are fine. The one thing that always baffles me is getting onto that bus and seeing the amount of children on that bus, and it takes me to ask the question, what are we doing as Africans, Ghana, Kenya, Zimbabwe, to make sure that we have as many people to be educated, not literally maybe a kind of education in the Western world, but the education that can work for we, the Africans, because sometimes we tend to want to copy, what the Western world are telling us, and sometimes it doesn't work. So a lot of money are spent into some of these, and it doesn't work. So this morning, I mean, as taking the children to school, you could have that feeling that when are we going to have a system where the neighbors' children are going to school and they are not selling akara or onions or orange in the early hours of the morning in the traffic. And again, we can only be grateful for those of us that have the opportunity to be here. And this is why Starr Radio is here, to continue to highlight some of these, humanity crisis that is going on. But as you can tell from the first headline, you say there, Buhari says, I have done my best, and it's right for the next person to take it up. But for now, let me come back again to you in the studio before we start looking into some of the headlines this morning.
Yes, listeners, that is how we play it here. No, Lakunle says, now welcome White Lion, keep the energy going, much love and respect. And then he goes on further to say, give Nigeria government hot today again and make them all uncomfortable. Well, we don't just there to make people uncomfortable. If you do the right thing, we will say it. You do the wrong thing, we will say it, because we are here to unearth whatever you are doing. So do the right thing so that when we say it, people will praise you. What about that? But let's go straight to the stories. Now, Buhari says on Monday in Bauchi, restated that he has served Nigeria and Nigerians to the best of his ability, declaring that he had not disappointed anyone. But people who this morning are not being able to fend for their kids, not getting just cocoa and akara on the table this morning, and those whose families have been kidnapped, those who have died under his reign, will disagree with him. Yomi.
Well, let's take us through a quick, round check of what Buhari has done, in 8 years, because his government is actually literally winding down. As we do know, it's now countdown to the election. If all goes, whether either way, Buhari is still going. So definitely Buhari is going. So, it does not matter how much more time he has. But I'm just trying to get, the report that was sent to me. Yes, and I have it right here in front of me. And we can see if the engineers will also be able to bring it into the screen behind us in just about a few minutes. When President Muhammadu Buhari came to power in 2015, there were quite a lot of, things that changed up to now. And some of those things that change is the exchange rate, is also the dollar. And right there, these are the, let's get it fit in properly so that we can, yes, that's it there. And I'm sure our listeners can actually see the APC years report card. So as Buhari done very well, let's take a look at it, in this APC report card that we have in front of us. When President Muhammadu Buhari came to power in 2015, the dollar was 190 naira. As of today, the dollar is 740 naira. When President Muhammadu Buhari came to power in 2015, the fuel, which is known as petrol, which is so much used in Nigeria because there's no electricity, even though the vice president as of today says that Nigeria will be able to use an electric car. I'm not sure whether or how that is going to happen. But today, the petrol is going to 300 naira. But when the government removed the subsidy, whether this government or the next government is going to happen, the fuel is going to be going to about 800 naira. The diesel is now almost 900 naira from 150 naira. The rice that a lot of Nigerians eat so much has gone from 8,000 naira to 52,000 naira, even though it says 46, but it depends on where you're buying it. But we do know that Lagos State yesterday welcomed the president into Lagos State and commissioning a rice mill, which I'm not sure whether that would drop the price of rice, because it actually says Eco Rice, which means the Lagos State rice. We know that they had a partnership in one of the states, some few years ago. We didn't see any outcome of that. But this time around that the president have actually inaugurated and commissioned this project, in the rice mill, maybe the rice price will drop. If you're eating a bread, which I have a bit of piece of bread next to me right here, bread was 300 naira, and bread is now almost 1,000 naira. Remember that the exchange rate is 920 naira to a pound, and we're talking about a very small loaf. Not everybody eat chicken, but we do have a lot of space of land in any part of the country to have, rare chicken. But for whatever reason, chicken costs 10,000 naira. If you're booking a flight from Lagos to Abuja, you're going to be looking at about 80,000 naira. But that means that a lot of people will travel on the road, and the danger on the road is there. The insecurity, every part of the Northeast zone is not safe. And the last but not the least, the debt profile of Nigeria has now stood at 98.6 billion. And Buhari says, I have not disappointed you. I have given my best. Buhari was telling Nigerians during his campaign with Bola Tinubu in Bauchi State yesterday. The president says, and I quote, restated that he has served Nigeria and Nigerians to the best of his ability, declaring that he had not disappointed anyone. Star Radio UK, I'll come back again to you in the studio.
You know, it's interesting because my statement is, well, you can be sleeping and you can tell us that, look, I've done my best. I mean, that is your own assessment of your, performance. However, how do people see you? How have people seen you over the period of time that you've been doing whatever you are being paid for by the taxpayers? Now, if you are listening to us, Olakunle says, we did not welcome Buhari in Lagos. He rather welcomed himself. So that is a strong one there. They did not welcome. He welcomed himself there. So whatever he did it by himself.
I was welcoming Buhari, and even though Tinubu did not attend, the state banquet dinner, we are not too sure for a reason why. But the information says, there's still a bit of a problem between the Buhari and likewise Tinubu. But Buhari is still in Lagos, commissioning a lot of projects. But if you're not welcoming him, it seems that the governor of Lagos State has actually welcomed Buhari into the state.
But Yomi, before we move on to some of the other stories that we want to look at, now, do you think that if you take Nigerians, let's take 100% of Nigerians, what percentage of them, if they are scoring Buhari, have they done anything of the sort? How many of them have taken him that he performed well, or if you have any data of that sort?
Well, businesses have complained bitterly about President Muhammadu Buhari, and like I said, the engineer is just going to give us, some of what is happening as at yesterday, as Buhari was welcoming to Lagos State, but Tinubu was not in that dinner. He was actually complaining that he's tired. That's President Muhammadu Buhari there, in Lagos during the banqueting. A lot of businesses have been affected in Nigeria, and because Nigeria does not produce anything, and that literally means that more produce that is coming into the country because of the forex, and we do not have enough forex because the crude oil has been halved. But as a lot of people will be looking into the last part of Buhari, is it a president to be remembered? Has it actually disappointed, or he hasn't disappointed? Let's take a look at the president acknowledged the warm reception accorded him and continued show of love by Nigerians, noting that the huge crowd that welcomed him wherever he went was a demonstration of genuine love and loyalty. We do know that the northern part of Nigeria still fall in love with Buhari. I'm not sure whether the southeast or the southwest fall in love with Buhari, because Buhari actually locked the border from the southwest to Benin Republic for more than 3 years, while the northern part of the border were open. So Buhari will continue to get this kind of crowd each time he travels to the state. I haven't seen the crowd in Lagos State, but we do know that the Lagos State always penalize the market women when they have such event for not coming out. I normally call on the emirs and the chief, whether on political or personal tour, to state to show my gratitude. I like to mention that from 2003 to 2011, I visited all the local government in 2019 when I was seeking my re-election. But the question is, has Buhari really performed very well for these? But the special media aide, Femi Adesina, will always defend the boss to say Buhari has done very well for Nigerians.
Well, he has to sing his master's praise, because that's where his pay packet is coming from. But well, listeners, it's all Star Radio UK. We want to have your take on that. Do you think Buhari is performed very, very well? As we see, he says that there are a number of people who have trooped out to come and support him, shows that, well, he is popular. What do you think? Maybe it's the party people who just organize some party faithful to come and support him. There are places where we know that people were paid to appear. People were paid just to appear there to do all sorts. But what do you think about all that? It's Star Radio UK. A 31-year-old farmer based in Osun State, somewhere Oladoton, who was recently abducted alongside his brother by some gunmen near his farm in Iliogbo town, spoke about their harrowing experience. So he said, the president is saying, I performed very, very well. But this is somebody speaking about a harrowing experience. What how they were treated when they were abducted. Yomi.
Well, you're quite right. There's quite a lot of adoption going in Nigeria on a daily basis, depending on which side of the country or which part of the state that you're actually looking at. Yes, he's a FUNAB graduate that was actually kidnapped at the beginning of this year, precisely the 11th of January. He believed that with God's mercy, he was able to survive it. But he has now been questioned. What was your experience like in the den of your adopters? It was not easy at all, surviving in that place by the grace of God. We survived it all. We were adopted on Wednesday, January 11, and had to trek for 45 minutes into the bush. We stopped briefly to rest. After resting for some minutes, we started long trek again. Guess what? They were trekking for up to 3 hours before we again got to a place where we rested. It was after the third trench of trek that we finally got to the kidnappers' camp. There we were kept with no food and water. We learned another person was adopted along with you. Who was this person? He is my younger brother, Toby. When we were kidnapped, he was even in fasting. When he got to a stage where we could not longer bear it, we asked our adopter if we could get some water, but one of them viciously hit us with stick for asking for water. But good enough, one of them understand fairly good English language. He was the one who took pity upon us. And so these are the part of what Buhari has done for not able to protect Nigerians in every part of the country. How were you adopted? On the day we were kidnapped, I could conclude all the tasks I set out to do on the farm. I was heading out of my area in my vehicle. I had a loud bang from a gunshot. It roared from the back of my vehicle. Initially, I thought it was from the hunter. I immediately parked to check what the problem was. And just as I came down, 3 men emerged from the bush from the back, started shooting sporadically into the air. Before I realized what was happening, another set show up in the front. And this is the disguise. They normally give you a bit of most people that have been kidnapped in Nigeria, you would normally get people coming to your front with cattle, or sometimes they're coming on their own. If you try to reverse, then there's another set of people coming out, and that literally means that you are trapped. And this individual, from what we heard, but at what point did the adopter demand for ransom? The day just the following morning, being a Thursday, I recall we were given roasted cassava to eat in the morning. Then at about 6 p.m. we were given a roasted yam, because that is the only thing they can capture from the from some of the farms that they have probably been able to invade. On Friday, after calling our people to demand for ransom, and the response they got was not favorable, they refused to give us food and water. Later that night, I asked for water. They gave us gari. The kidnappers were 7 in number. They kept the water we drank in a 5-liter keg. It means that 9 of us had to drink from the same volume of water. We were not given food or water throughout Saturday. On Sunday, we could not cope again. We asked for water. So these are the issues that a lot of people face in Nigeria. And I'm just trying to find out, with your fairly good disclose of the likely areas of this kidnapper, what do you advise the security operative? If the police want to do their homework very well, it is not as if they can't arrest these criminals. The adopters don't operate on people's farm. They stay in the area with thick bush, which they use as a shield. Why with your adopter did you observe the people could be close by? At first, we could hear voices. There was a day we had a bike moving very close to that place. The last place we were taken to also was very close to the main road. So how were you kidnapped? So the question is, if this is happening in Nigeria, and we have the governors, we have the senators, and Nigerians are asking, how can this continue to happen in a country that the military has done very well, across other African countries, but they have been unable to protect Nigerians? Starr Radio UK, and this is just one experience out of so many that Nigerians are going through in terms of the Fulani kidnappers that have turned Nigeria into a very, very sad ground as we speak.
Well, they say Buhari is performing very, very well. Maybe, who knows? They see it differently.
And 10 million naira was paid, the first 6 million, and the later collected 4 million. So from 2 individuals, 10 million naira was actually paid. And if I bring that back to probably maybe pound sterling as of today, let's look at about 15,000 pounds. Well, thereabout, you're looking at about almost 10 £12,000 was paid, no tax, from a kidnapper. And there we go, another set of people kidnapped, and they have more fire weapon. And the question is, for how long will this continue? Some of these individuals don't have the money. Some money are borrowed. Property are sold at a very, very ridiculous price so that they can be able to save their loved ones. These individuals end up paying 10 million naira, which is almost £10,000 to be released.
It is very sad. I mean, listeners, if you are listening to us this morning and with what is going on there, and some people sit on their high pedestal and say, you know what, we are doing our best, you know, we've done our very best, so clap for us. And you ask yourself, are you for real? Adebanjo Yusuf says, good afternoon, Mr. Koiki. Adebanjo, we hope you are doing very, very well. And we thank God Nigeria has not happened to you. It is Starr Radio UK. Updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olayomi Koiki and North London Studios. I'm Archie here in the South Studios. 11:31 the time. Let's speak on one other story before I allow Mr. Olayomi Koiki to continue. But still pertaining to the abduction and the fact that all this, whether they are Fulani headsmen or whoever who are perpetrating all this. Now, another train, Abuja Kaduna train passengers stranded over diesel supply. So the first question is, we know these trains, I mean, we know that these kidnappers do plot to derail trains and do all sorts. Now we have whether they are now regrouping or whether now they've been conquered and therefore they are not able to operate. A train traveling from Kaduna, Abuja to Kaduna, and they are telling us they cannot calculate the amount of fuel that it needs to travel from one point to the other. Then what's the point then?
Well, remember that the train set out, from Abuja, so that means they have enough time, to know, the capacity of the volume of, diesel that will be used. Yesterday, I was still telling you that such as happened before. This was from Lagos Ibadan, when one of the train actually stopped, and the reason for that is they haven't got enough diesel inside it. In a statement that was released yesterday, Pascal, the manager of the Abuja train service, said the delay was due to a shortage in the supply of diesel. The management of the Nigerian Rail Corporation sincerely apologized to our esteemed customers who may have experienced a delay in the Abuja-Kaduna train services, which was yesterday, the 23rd. The NRC stated the Rail Corporation added that the delay was caused by the supply of diesel, which fell short of specification required to operate our rolling stock, which was rightly rejected after the statutory laboratory test. The question then is, why should we have a train services on when we do not have, the right diesel to be used, to run these particular train services? These, again, are questions that a lot of people will be waking up again this morning to ask the question: are we safe on the road? Are we safe on the rail? Or are we safe on air? What actually is happening in Nigeria is something that is becoming quite alarming, and a lot of those that are facing these are ordinary Nigerians as we speak this morning.
Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. We'll allow Yomi to bring us the rest of the story that's making the round this morning. Stay tuned. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, at exactly 11:34, we're just going to quickly touch some of the headline. This is Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And the best way to listen to us is to go on our website, which is www.starradiouk.com, where you can find all the podcasts, the radio link, the TV link, and likewise, all the reporters on Starr Radio UK that gives you up-to-date information on Africa and the rest of the continent as well. But this morning, we're looking into some of the headline from Nigeria. Cash swap. Central Bank of Nigeria bars Abuja Lagos POS operator. This is the only means of Nigerians withdrawing money. It's called POS. It's equivalent to you just going to the ATM, but the only difference is this is manually handled by individuals. The Central Bank of Nigeria has excluded mobile money point of sales agents in Abuja and Lagos from its newly launched cash swap program. The development came as 31st of January deadline for phasing out the old 1,000 naira, 500 naira, and 200 naira note. In a frequently asked questions document released to selected agents and obtained on Monday, the CBN provided guideline for cash swap program. What a very interesting time ahead. More Nigerians do not have access to the new note, but we can see that more Nigerians do not even have access to naira in the first place as well. Excess fast can can damage kidney, according to NAFDAC. So please, for those of you that continue to eat in the buka, be careful of the kind of cooking oil that you are being used, that they are using, because you might not know. And this takes us again to NAFDAC, taking us to Kano State, where a vegetable oil outlet in Kano, the refilling of vegetable oil was done in an unhygienic environment using a tanker meant for distribution of petrochemical products. Wow. This is going on in Kano State. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration Control, known as NAFDAC, says it has now closed a vegetable oil packaging outlet in Gidarua Airport Road, Nasarawa, local government of Kano State. And the reason for that is they are using a wrong tank that is meant for petrochemical to run a vegetable oil. So again, and that also linked to kidney problem, as we do know. 11:36. Let's take a look at businesses in Nigeria. A lot of businesses are facing a lot. I was comparing this morning before coming on air. If I want to get a loan from the bank in UK, maybe the High Street Bank, not the other ones that might be a little bit more. You're looking at about 8.9%. So if I'm able to pay £225 every month, I could take home about £15,000 loan at about 8.9. But in Nigeria, bank lending rate to customer has now hit 29.13%. And this might be a big problem for those that want to take a loan. The maximum lending rate in the banking sector is 29.13%, while saving deposit rate was 4.13% as of December 2022. The figure that was obtained by the Central Bank of Nigeria on money market indicator yesterday, according to the report, prime lending rate was 13.85%, while interbanking rate was 12%. Treasury bill was 4.35%. 1 month deposit. So the question then is the money available? The National Institute of Credit Administration stated in its report, bullet print report for growth, development, sustainability of micro, small, medium-sized enterprise sector in Nigeria, that there was no need to support businesses with a single-digit loan, as high interest was already affecting the economic growth. It stated that the high monetary policy rate, the higher the interest rate charge on loans, the lines of credit offered to medium scales in the country, high interest is something to be worried about. So 2-digit is what is being used as what we can call interest rate in Nigeria. I'm gonna take one more from the business. Yesterday, we saw the commotion at the airport. It seems that the situation is probably under control. Aviation union strike says Lagos airport commotion. We do know that went down a little bit, maybe after conversation with the union, but several international passengers are still stranded at the Muritala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, as at today, as a backlog has already started, due to the NACO. Lagos project, jobs as Buhari open a rice mill and a seaport. How is this going to affect, the economy of Lagos State? We do know that Lagos State is the capital of Nigeria, even though Abuja is the capital. Yesterday, the president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired, has unveiled the 1.5 billion Lekki Deep Seaport and the Imota Rice Mill in Ikorodu, Lagos State. The Lekki Deep Seaport has been described as one of the largest seaports in the country and one of the biggest in West Africa, which it promotes, have said would improve efficiency and serve as a major driver for the economy. How this is going to have impact on an average person in terms of economy and development, we will find out in the long run. He has inspected the guard of honor at the airport parade ground. Buhari visited the Lekki Deep Seaport and took a brief inspection trip around the project to inspect its facility. President, like we say, is still currently in Lagos, after the banquet yesterday. Tinubu was not there, but it seems that there's still wrangling between both Tinubu and President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm going to go straight to the social media that we can come back and look into. Shetima is trending. I'm not too sure why, but a lot of people are very, very skeptical about the vice president, representing, Buhari. Question about Tinubu's health. We are not preparing for Olympic. Lagos was a super slum before Tinubu became a governor, but has now been transformed, says APC Vice Chairman. I believe he was actually saying this at the Lagos State banquet with President Muhammadu Buhari. A lot of concern about Tinubu's health. He was not there. A lot of people believe that, you know, he has a bit of dementia and he needs to be taking care of himself. But Tinubu believes that the job, you know, should be in his own hand. Atiku believes the same thing. Peter Obi believes the same thing. The indigenous people are saying the other way around. So it seems that Shetima is saying that since we are not running an Olympic, you know, Tinubu's health should not be a concern. Tinubu is also trending at about 13.8%, you know, this morning. And for those that are also saying, we've got our PVC, you know, we will be using that to vote Tinubu. But some are already saying that, you know, Tinubu's health. So this individual says, I got my PVC because of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because of his influence in Nigeria. I have just one vote to give you, sir. I promise you will not smell this. Wow. So definitely he's not going to be voting for Tinubu. I thought he was going to be voting, but it seems this individual says he's not going to be smelling it. Again, this is my number one queen in this obedient movement, Woto Woto. She deserves disobedient children a lot. And that is, you know, Reno. Reno was very active during the NSAS. And let's take a look at what more is coming up as we look into the agitation, the Biafra, the Yoruba. According to the Yoruba Global Youth, some few hours ago, Yoruba nation is what we want. Orile-ede Yoruba, country Yoruba, nationality Yoruba Moluabi, language Yoruba, currency Owo-eyo, and also government and nationality Yoruba. That is coming from Yoruba Global Youth. Bashegun Alabi also said, the ancient Yoruba did not write. Their history was written by others and was frequently conjured. Opinions are made up. I applied the possibility test, the quality of being credible to think person on a scale of 1 to 10. A score less than 5 makes a story unconvincing. As the Biafra continue the agitation, the Yoruba continue the agitation. Bashegun also wrote, someone just asked me, why am I doing all this when people at home are so apathetic? The future generation, I say the future generation. So those that are fighting for the cause are looking for the future generation. And as we do know, Simon Ekpa, one of the, you know, the spokesperson for the Biafra movement this morning, seems to be going into a bit of prayer, because in anything we do, we also need that prayer, because like they say, prayer with action is something that is so important. And that is, you know, Simon Ekpa there, you know, having his prayer. And he says, and I quote, those that choose to fight against our freedom, may that path you choose lead to your end. Nobody will pay for the choice you made by yourself. Many will regret the choice they made, but those who made choice of freedom will stand firm. We are fighting this war with our body and soul. Starr Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, at 11:44 p.m. I will now return back again to you in the studio. So it seems that it's the body and the soul that will fight the journey for the Biafra, as Simon Ekpa actually said right there.
Wow. Very comprehensive update from there. Mr. Olayomi Koiki, North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios. Before we run up their conversation, now Tinubu versus Buhari. Now, as some people are alluding that it might be because of his ill health, that is why he didn't appear there. I remember there was it the Medical Association of Nigeria. Oh yes, I think that yes, we're calling for a health check to be done on all the presidential candidates. I don't know whether their teams are adhering to that at all. What do you think?
Well, even Buhari never gave us the reason why he travels to London from 2015 for his health care. So I'm not seeing Tinubu releasing his health, you know, details, you know, to the public to scrutinize whether he's fit. But as his vice says, that he's not contesting for an Olympic, so there's no reason for us to know whatever is wrong with Tinubu. But we do know that Tinubu has spent almost a lot of time here in the UK because of his ill health. But his government and those that has been there as Buhari have also spent more time here looking after himself, with the, either from the private sector, which we do know, but the question is that nobody knows what is wrong with Buhari. Likewise, nobody knows what is wrong with Tinubu.
All right. Time will tell. But are there posters? Those who actually pull on doing all the questionnaire and stuff like that, asking people what they are going to be, who they are going to be voting for. Do you have posters like that who are very strong in Nigeria?
Oh yes, and that has been favoring Peter Obi. Wow. The last 4 polls, and a bit of and I've asked the question: even if Peter Obi becomes the winning candidate, are we going to see APC letting go? Even though Buhari says he's going to allow a free and fair election.
But okay, the percentage of error in Nigerian polling, how has it been? Do you think that, the way the polling is going is one that can reflect on the results of the actual election when it takes place?
Well, let's take a look at the last one. Most of the polls that have been, projected in the past, has worked based on those that have done those polls. But I'm taking you back to last year, conducted in the early December. The results showed 23% of voters willingly to vote for Peter Obi if the presidential election were to be conducted as at the early December. Labour Party Peter Obi is still projected to win Nigeria 2023 presidential election, according to a new poll commissioned by ANAP Foundation. A nationwide poll shows a significant lead taken by Peter Obi, with Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress and Atiku of the People's Democratic respectively trailing in. Rabiu Kwankwaso of the New Nigerian People's Party NNPP emerged as a distant fourth behind Messiah Tinubu and Abubakar. Conducted in the early December, the result shows 23% of voters willing to vote Peter Obi if the election was conducted as a time. 13% proposing to vote Tinubu, who fell second place. Abubakar third with 10%, and Kwankwaso fourth with only 2% of voters proposing to vote him. Even though Kwankwaso refused to merge with Peter Obi, because Kwankwaso at Chatham House says Peter Obi is just a trader while he's a PhD holder.
Well, listeners, quite interesting, and that's the question we've been asking. Should the election take place and Peter Obi wins, would the government would they hand over power to him, or will we hear some announcement and saying anomalies took place and all that sort, and therefore there is a martial law in place? What is going to happen? We want to know more about all that. But remember, tomorrow, God willing, if we are still alive, in the evening, we'll have all the time to discuss all the issues that's going on in Nigeria. But don't you worry, tomorrow morning, Olayomi will be joining in to bring you updates from Nigeria as well. But Yomi, before you go.
Well, this is the only platform that gives you all those headlines from different parts of Africa, here in UK, with a traffic update. And likewise, with more programs after Archie, don't touch the dial. Stay tuned. But the best way to listen is download the apps, and that will give you a free 24-hour, 7 days Starr Radio UK. I'll be back, like Archie say, for more headline from Nigeria. But for now, have a very good morning. For those of you that are watching us in Nigeria already, it's already good afternoon. And if you're watching us in Miami as you're waking up, I say good morning to you as well.
Okay, Yummy. Let me say thank you very much, and we'll catch up later then.
Bye for now.
Bye. Well, listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. Now, Olakunle says, as of September 2022, Nigeria total debt stock was 44.06 trillion naira. Nigeria has spent 3.04 trillion to service external and domestic debt in 9 months of 2022. Nigeria can never grow, and that is what he is thinking of this morning. But what do you think? I'm not Frank. My producer has put that. Well, it is all coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, 11:50. Let's take a musical break, and once we come back, we continue with the show. This one is from Jeanette, but this time around, not Aurelie Demi. This one is Yoruba Nation. Enjoy it, and I'll be with you.
Top dog. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́.
Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ọmọ wọn Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ọmọ wọn Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Kí ìtọ́ mi sẹ́yìn o. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ìtẹ̀pá wa jẹ́ òtítọ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ìyà yìí máa pọ̀ lápọ̀jù. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ìyà wa jẹ́ tún pa wá. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ebi ń pa wá, ìyà ń jẹ wá. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Àwòsàbòrò ló ti pa wá tán. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ wa ń ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Àwa ò ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà mọ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Nísìnyí o, Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹ pariwo, ẹ gbóhùn sókè. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹ jẹ́ kó dàmọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ kó rí gbọ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹ sọ̀rọ̀ sókè nísìnyí o.
In your car,
work,
this is Starr
on your
Radio
smartphone.
UK.
Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Bàbá ìlú ti gbóhùn sókè. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Obìnrin ìlú dẹ̀ ń faraya. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Àwa ò ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà mọ́. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Èyí tí àjẹ́ wa ó ti tó. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Òṣì máa pọ̀ lápọ̀jù. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ẹ̀yà wa jẹ́ tún pa wá. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ebi ń pa wá, ìyà ń jẹ wá. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Àwòsàbòrò ló ti pa wá tán. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ọmọ wọn Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Orí títí no surrender. Yorùbá nation la fẹ́. Ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà ń pariwo. No more wọn Nàìjíríà. Yorùbá World Congress ń faraya. Bírèkì ìtọ́ ní sẹ́yìn o. Yorùbá World Voice dẹ̀ ń pariwo.
This is Starr Radio UK.
In your car,
At work,
at home.
on your smartphone. Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Àwa ò ṣe wọ́n Nàìjíríà mọ́. OPC fìgìláńtẹ́. Ẹgbẹ́ Yorùbá lápapọ̀. Gbogbo wọn ti gbóhùn sókè. Yorùbá nation ní ìsinyìí o. Akíntóyè bàbá pariwo. Good night.
Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it. Make that move now, this festive season, to your new home address at GHS Housing Estates. From now to 31st January 2023, we are offering you an amazing 5% buyer's discount on all purchases on our expandable 1, 2, 3 and 4 bedroom detached homes at Cochrane Villa, Pokwase, just 5 minutes drive from the interchange. The Mayflower and the new Hazel Courts at Kuntusi, 20 minutes drive from Achimotamo. Beautiful homes in a serene and gated community with flexible payment plans available. Call us now on 0544 347 980 or 0544 347 981. GHS Housing Estates. View it, love it, own it.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, bringing the time now to exactly 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's crack on. I'll be opening the lines in the next 5 minutes, so just stay tuned and don't you think of touching the dial. I am Archie, and we're going to make the rest of the program a very lovely, jubbly one. Okay, let's go to other parts of Africa and let's look at some of the stories making the rounds there, and we will continue from there. A UN report shows climate-related disaster as major cause of human trafficking. Wow. Okay. Now, there was an explosion of online sexual exploitation in a number of countries. And a number of countries, basically, their justice and police systems simply stopped working. I'll be telling you more details about that. And Cameroon journalists urge investigation after death of a colleague. But we know that the Cameroonian government, they've been there, they've been doing whatever they want to do, and they don't give a hoot about what, other parts or some people, critics, think about or are doing. The best way forward is to get rid. So they do so. I'm not saying across board, but if things like this happen, then people seem to be wondering and asking all sorts. Now, Burkina Faso confirms demanding France to withdraw troops. These are some of the stories making the round. Lawmakers to review ties with European Parliament, and that is pertaining to Morocco. So what is happening there? What do the Moroccans want to really do? What do they really want? We'll be telling you more about that in a moment. So let's take the latter first. Now, Moroccan lawmakers on Monday voted unanimously to review ties with European Parliament. The story says. Now, members of both houses of Morocco's parliament met in the capital Rabat for a joint session in response to the non-binding European text adopted on Thursday. In a statement after their session, the Moroccan legislators called the European resolution an unacceptable attack against the sovereignty, dignity, and independence of judicial institutions in the kingdom. They said it had seriously harmed the fundamental trust between them. As a result, Morocco's parliament decided to reconsider its relations with the European Parliament and submit them for an overall evaluation. Now, said Rachid Talbi Alami, Speaker of the House of Representatives. He gave no further details. Now, under 1996 agreement, Morocco and the European Union have been linked in tight economic and commercial relations, particularly in agriculture and fishing. But now that they are making this move, what do you think is going to happen? Their decisions are not going to intimidate us, and we are not going to change our path and approach, said Mohamed Geth, now president of the National Rally of Independence, now the biggest party in Morocco's ruling coalition. Now, European lawmakers in Strasbourg had urged Morocco to respect freedom of expression and media freedom and to guarantee imprisoned journalists a fair trial. And as I've said, well, when it comes to Africa, some of the countries, freedom of speech, Okay, now moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds in Burkina Faso. Now, the Burkina Faso government clarified on Monday that it has asked ex-colonial ruler France. My apologies. Let me take it again. My apologies. Now, the Burkina Faso government clarified on Monday that it has asked ex-colonial ruler France to pull its troops out of the insurgency-hit country within a month. Now, France deploys about 400 special forces soldiers in junta-ruled Burkina, but relations have deteriorated and tensions have soared in recent months. Now, we are terminating the agreement which allows French forces to be in Burkina Faso. Government spokesman Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo told radio television du Burkina. Now, this is not the end of diplomatic relations between Burkina Faso and France. He added, the termination is normal and it's foreseen in the terms of the agreement, the spokesman said. Now, the junta and all the country wanted to be the prime actors in the recapture of our territory, he said, echoing coup leader Captain Ibrahim Traoré's rallying call to reclaim as a top priority swaths of land occupied by jihadists. Now, Burkina Faso's news agency had unveiled the request late on Saturday. Now, AFP obtained on Sunday a copy of the Burkina Bay Foreign Ministry's letter to Paris and dated last Wednesday, asking to terminate and close the agreement in its entirety. Now, French President Emmanuel Macron on Sunday said Paris was awaiting clarification from Ouagadougou over the pull-out call. Well, these are people who are there, who were placed there to help you fight these insurgents. However, they say that, look, we want you out. We want you out. Now, are they prepared? Do they have the means to do that? Especially when we're looking at the formation, or we know that we have the ECOWAS. Now, we know after the coup d'etats and all those things, there have been sanctions, few sanctions here and there on the countries, and especially they were all French colonies, former colonies. All right. So you ask yourself the question: what are the French doing that have made these people think that, well, though your presence are there, you are not seeking our welfare or our interests, and therefore we want you out of the place? Now, what do you think is happening there? It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. It's your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.